filmmaker Sanjay Chahal joins me from Mumbai now. How would you remember Rajesh Khanna, India's first superstar, a cult figure? We've all seen Aradhna and Anand. We've known his philosophy of life, his philosophy in films. How would you remember him?
I remember him as a very large-hearted man. He was a real superstar. When I did a film called Kya Dil Ne Kaha, I requested him to play a guest appearance of a role of a father. And I was very reluctant. I was very scared that he will like it or not, because it was about a bad father who is not very good with the kids and the bad married life and all. But he was very sporty, and and I must say this, people say a lot of things about him. I didn't have a big budget for him, for the star like him, and I requested him, and he said in a very typical Rajesh Khanna style, "Sanju, tumhe na keh sakta hu? Can I ignore you? Can I say no to you?" And that was his big gesture. He allowed me to direct him, and even the money was not great, but he was in the film, and he was so at it. He used to remember scenes, and he used to enact scenes properly, and he was very good with a thing called continuity. It's called, one shot to second shot. I mean, he used to remember where his hand was, where his cigarette was, how he used to turn. He was a very technically perfect actor I've seen, very technically perfect. He had a kind of a ada, flamboyance, and he used to always say that the success of Rajesh Khanna is what? Dilip Kumar's concentration, Raj Kapoor's charm, and Devanand's flamboyance. He said, "This is my, key of my success. This combination of these three things." And he was, very good with the staff, with my assistants and all. After every day, I mean, I shot for 3 days. He kept, a party in his hotel room, and number of items were ordered by him, and everything. The party was a lavish party, like a king throws a party, and it ends with the typical pan and sweets. And he had a style in him. He lived as a king, he lived as a superstar, and he had a way of speaking. He never had a yelling kind of a screeching kind of a
and this is quite rare. This is quite rare with a superstar, considering the charm he had, considering the clout he wielded in Bollywood. We've heard of stories when his car would pass by, women would kiss the windscreen and it would turn pink. Sharmila Tagore's talked about a story about how more than 600 women reached a venue just to get a glimpse of him. All of this did not impact him adversely, did it?
Never. He was very, very level-headed. He used to say, that was Rajesh Khanna, Kaka, this is Jatin Khanna. He was very, very level-headed, and he was not very nostalgic and very, grim about his past laurels. He was not. When I used to ask him, tell me about your stardom, tell me about your past life experience and all, he used to say, क्या पूछना चाहते हो? कि तुम्हें ऐसा लगता है कि रस्सी सांप चले गए और रस्सी बल रह गए? ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. He was very sporty enough, and the best thing about him, he used to be very good with workers. He taught me one thing. He said, whenever you throw party, first see to it that there should be a separate table, separate counter for drivers, because everyone will come, every star will come, every guest will come, and they can leave at any moment. Where will the driver eat? So see to it, the drivers eat first. He started this trend in the industry that in his parties, there was separate counter for workers. They should be taken care of. I mean, and I must tell you, he played the role of NRI, and he was so particular about his clothes and his shoes, and he was enthusiastic. And one more thing, after the pack-up, he used to enact the entire scene again in his room. He was so fond of acting, so fond of his work, and I never had to remind him about dialogues. His memory was commendable. He used to remember each and every line, and he was a very loyal person. I remember, when the film got over, he insisted that he will dub in a particular BR studio, because all his life, all his career, he used to dub there. He says, "This is my recording, this is my studio, and I'll dub there. I'll not go to any other studio." He was so loyal to people, and then he ordered for cake for everyone, and he cut the cake after the dubbing. So I think there was a style of a Badshah, the style of a king, and that
indeed a style of a king in Rajesh Khanna. The king is no more.